are very simple here. Let's try to understand what do you mean by argument? What do you mean by parameters? Do you know, students, parameters, if you take it, there are two types. One is called what? You know, one is called, come on, what is this? Formal parameters. Number one is called formal parameters, formal params. And second is called local parameters, local params, or local variables also we can call. No problem. We can call like that. And formal variables also you can call, no issue. You can call as like this. Come in. So formal params or variables, formal variables, and local parameters or local variables. You tell me, where to use formal parameters? Come on, you need to answer it. If you don't answer, na, I'll get irritation first. Formal parameters are used in function heading, function definition, function heading especially. Local parameters are used in the function body. Function body. Formal parameters are the variables used in the function heading. They are used for holding the input coming from the function calls. Local parameters are those which are used in the function body. They are used for storing the temporary results. So when I go to the PyCharm, and if you observe such programming in the class, let's open that code. Here, come out of that. Here I'm going to take up. So here I'm having, where is it? Mm, So, so I hope that is not there here. Started now, last class. So go to the place once, and here I will look into that. Here we are having C colon users caveat and PyCharm projects and 7 a.m. related 7 a.m. related functions. 7 a.m. functions example. These things we already discussed it. And this is an approach one, approach two, etc. You see. This approach one example you see. And this part you try to look at. I'll try to open it. In a PyCharm, I will open it. Open in the PyCharm. So here it is getting opened it. Okay. So let us move to the further. You try to observe, students. You see here, the concept is very, very easy. Where we are having A and B are called formal parameters used in the function heading, and C is called local variable or local parameter used in the function body for storing the temporary results. That is simple, and we already understood that part. And C is a local variable here, which is containing the temporary results. That part is perfect. So this part already we did it. And here if I take it, DEF sum OP of A comma B. And if I say here, C is equal to A plus B. For example, D is equal to A minus B and E is equal to A star B. If I take this kind of things, here AB are called formal parameters. Here AB are called formal parameters. AB are called formal parameters that I already written it. And CDE are called here, here CDE, C comma D comma E are called, you know, local parameters. Local parameters we can call. Okay. So carefully try to understand, students, local parameters used for storing the inputs or storing the temporary results in this case. Now next term, we must talk about what is arguments. This is the one we need to go for it. So arguments are also called what? Basically, these are also called variables. Arguments also some kind of variables only. Formal parameters also called variables. Local parameters also called variables. Arguments are also called variables. But the place where you use it, it differs. It differs. If I use the variables in the function heading, they are called what? formal variables. If I use the variables inside the function body, they are known as what? Local parameters or local variables. Now I'm talking about the arguments. What do you mean by these arguments? Arguments are also called variables used in used in function used in function calls. Arguments are the variables. Sometimes you can pass even values also, no problem. So used in where? These are used in where? Function calls. Used in function calls. These are used in function calls. So if we take an example, here you take it. X, Y are called what? Arguments. Come on, first, what these are called? Arguments. Take care. Again, you are not speaking. Once if I go for again back to that, you will be, that's all. You try to respond. Take care. Otherwise, I'll continue my discussion. Last and final warning for you. Sum of OP, XY are called what? Arguments. This is called a completely function call. XY are called function calls, and these ABs are called what? Formal parameters. The relationship between arguments and parameters is X value stored in A and then Y value stored in B. This is the relationship between arguments and formal parameters. Every value of argument is passing to the parameter. Is passing to the parameter. That's why, based on the relationship, once again, I am trying to say the relationship between arguments and then formal parameters is that the relationship between arguments and parameters is that every value of argument must pass to whom? Formal parameter. Every argument value called xy passing to AB. Every argument called AB is passing to this AB. So the relationship between formal arguments and parameters is that every argument value is passing to parameters. That's why that is known as what? The mechanism of passing the arguments to what? Parameters is known as what, arguments passing mechanism we can call. Arguments passing mechanism we can call. Arguments passing mechanisms. How many types of arguments passing mechanisms are there? There are totally 5 ways you can pass the arguments. How much important, I can't imagine it. Take any student who is learning Python, we don't know. Arguments passing mechanism. What is an arguments passing mechanism? Every value of argument is passing to the parameter. The relationship between the arguments and parameters is every value of the argument is passing to the parameter. Example, if I take into consideration, here I am writing sum OP of 10 comma 20. Here 10, 20 are called what? 10 and 20 are called argument values. These are called argument values. These are argument values we can call. Argument values we can call. And next we are going to call it as what, some OP, some OP. There I am writing something like this. Here I am taking, here I am taking K is equal to 10, V is equal to 50. Now I am writing K comma V, K comma V I am going to say. This K comma V is going to be known as what? Function call here, function call here. This function call, every value of KV is passing to AB. That relationship is known as what? Arguments passing mechanism. How many ways are there to pass these arguments values to the parameters? There are 5 ways are there totally. What are the 5 ways? I'm having something like this. I'm having something like this. These are the 5 ways we are having. Number one, positional arguments, default arguments, keyword arguments, for variable length arguments, keyword variable length arguments. Very, very important. See, students, if I would like to shut, cut, shut, cut short my topics, after seeing this topic, I can say functions over, I can say. Because of that, no job will be coming. You will become like an academic student. Academics, what will come? Nothing will come after the degrees are over. Nobody will look at our face after the degrees are over. That is the present situation. And presently, what do you need? You need to improve your skill set. That skill set is going to be deep learning of the subject that we are going to provide. Speak out and try to practice well. So here, how many arguments types? Five. Number one, positional arguments, default arguments, keyword arguments, variable length arguments, keyword variable length arguments. If you speak like that now, you'll get subject. You'll get much content, you will get it. If you keep it quiet, what you will get, students? You realize it first. And if you don't speak, I'll stop communicating with you because you are not speaking now. That's why I'll stop. Be careful. Try to understand. Is it clear? So now I am going to show you one small documentation for you. One small documentation I will show you. Really, instead of typing it, I'll concentrate more on the topic wise. So here I will go for parameters and arguments I will talk. Come on, read out. Everybody must open your mouth. Parameters and arguments. Parameters. In Python programming, we have two types of parameters. They are formal parameters or dummy parameters. Local parameters or local variables. These are also known as what? Local parameters or variables also you can call. Dummy parameters, you can call it as the dummy variables also you can call. Okay, formal parameter, what is the purpose of it? I'm saying formal parameters are variables used inside of function heading. Formal parameters used for storing the inputs coming from function calls. Next, local parameter. Local parameters are variables used inside the function body. Local parameters used for storing the results after function processing result. Here, if you look at the formal parameters and local parameter values, the values of formal and local parameter values can be accessed within the corresponding function body, but not but we cannot access in other part of the program. Did you have seen already in the syntax also, no? In the syntax part also you have seen that. In the syntax also you have seen. Seventh point, if you remember, seventh point, if you remember, I said that, and I said the examples also for you. This return C and the AB values we cannot access in the main program, correct or not? We cannot access. So all such things, given a practical example. So here AB are called what? Formal parameters, and C is known as what? Local parameter, which is containing the function processing result like this. Next step, arguments you take it. Arguments are the variables or values used inside of function calls. Arguments are also called actual parameters or actual arguments. So A10, B20, sum OP of AB, this is a function call. Here AB are called what? Arguments. And R sum OP of 100 comma 200 is a function call. Here 100 and 200 are called argument values. The most important thing, the relationship between arguments and parameters is that every value of argument of function call must pass or send to formal parameter of function definition. This process is called arguments passing mechanism. So people will ask a question, what do you mean by arguments passing mechanism? What do you say arguments passing mechanism? Every value of argument function call must pass or send to formal parameter of function definition. That process is called arguments passing mechanism. So this I will show you. And after that, you look at the students, same point based on the relationship between arguments and parameters is that every value of argument of function call must pass or send to formal parameters of what? Function definition. This process is called arguments passing mechanism. In Python programming, arguments are classified into five types. They are positional arguments, default arguments, keyword arguments, variable length arguments, keyword variable length arguments. Are you following me? Right. So even if I go for closing this, how many arguments are there? Good. Tell me. Positional arguments, default arguments, keyword arguments, keyword variable length arguments. Some of them are saying only arguments like that. So, are you able to say? So, Spets, you tell me. Tell me. How many arguments? How many? Why? Tell me. First one. Very good. Second, variable length arguments. Third one, not remembering. Why? Positional argument, keyword argument. Hmm? Your length, my length. Keyword, 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 keyword. Don't see the chart box. Come on. Keyword length argument. Keyword length. Did I say that? Once we listen the class now, we have to be careful about it. Sit down. Next, how many? How many? How many way arguments? Five. Number one, positional argument. Huh? What is that? Keyword argument. Keyword arguments. 5 parts you are unable to remember. Next. Past, your stand up itself, I am understanding that. Tell me. Positional argument. Huh? Keyboard. Keyword. Keyword length argument. Keyword length argument. No. Keyword variable length arguments. Next. Hey, is it that much difficult? Next. Positional argument. Default arguments. Keyword. What you are saying now, I'm getting mind blank by seeing your words. I'm forgetting my subject. You are keeping such a big name. Next. Next. Positional argument. Keyword variable length arguments. Keyword length argument. Next. ఒకళ్ళు మిగిలినారు ఆ రోల్. Positional argument. Default arguments. Keyword arguments. Keyword parameter argument. Okay. Next. Sit down. కూర్చోండి. Next. Positional argument. Default arguments. Keyword arguments. Variable length arguments. Keyword variable length argument. Good. So, look at this. Because you got some time, because they are also typing it. All the people are typing it. Girls, when I will ask, I don't know. Whenever I ask that time, suddenly I will ask. Definitely one day I will ask here and be perfect. Come on, read out all of you. Again, I will ask at the end of it. Positional arguments, default arguments, keyword arguments, variable length arguments. Okay. So be careful the moment when you listen the class in such a way that you have to remember this. Now I'm entering into the first one called what? Positional arguments. So let's start the positional arguments. Online students, are you remembering? You are also forgetting. Are you remembering? You are also forgetting. So let's start the topic now. First one, positional arguments I'm topic. What is these topics are called? How to pass the arguments to the parameters. how to pass the arguments to the parameters. These are the types of passing mechanisms. Correct or not? So, how you can come to the class? How you can come to the class? You by walk you can come, by cycle you can come, by bike you can come, by car you can come, by aeroplane you can come, by helicopter you can come. Right or not? Of course, this last two not possible. These are possible for us because we are not politicians or not. You are not a employee right now. If you are an employee, if you earn more and more, you may go to that. Right now, you are here only and you are attending this. These are the number of approaches to reach to the class or not. Something like that. You are going to pass the arguments to the parameters. These many ways you can pass it. These are little complicated, student. You have to understand this. These are, while I am explaining default argument, I will explain positional arguments and default arguments. When I am explaining keyword arguments, I will mix one and two with three. When I am explaining fourth one I will explain exclusively. And when I am explaining fourth one, I will use one, two, three also. When I am explaining fifth one, I am using one, two, three, four also mixed with five. So little complicated. Try to listen carefully. Not complicated because if you don't communicate, it will become complicated. Now let us start with what first? Positional arguments. This concept is dead easy. This concept is dead easy. So let us start, students. What do you mean by positional arguments? Very simple. See, each argument mechanism contains a formula. The sending formula will be there. What is the sending formula here, students? The example which we wrote on the first day. The example which we wrote on the first day. The example which we wrote on the first day. What is an example we wrote on the first day? Approach example 1.py. It is an example of what? It is an example of which concept? Yes. So the default arguments mechanism is what? Positional arguments mechanism. In C language also, C++ also, Java also. What is the arguments passing mechanism by default? Positional argument. What do you mean by position? You just tell me. Position means what? Place. Correct or not? Here you come. What is this now? Here you take it. What is XY? Arguments. Used in where? What is AB? Used in where? Function heading. X is called which argument? First argument. Passing to the first formal parameter or not? This is called what here? Second formal parameter. Second, second argument, sorry. Second argument. Passing to whom? Second. So, what it indicates? What it indicates? Every argument value is passing to whom? Formal parameter. That's why this is known as what? Positional arguments concept. This is by default. The first day example itself is going to contain which concept? Positional arguments. Let me take an example. Students, I will show you that example on the Edit Plus. That is something like what? Wherever I'm typing it, you try to type that program into where? PyCharm. So here I'm going to show program for demonstrating, program for demonstrating, demonstrating, demonstrating what arguments? Positional arguments. Positional arguments. Why do you use and all those things? I will write it. Why I am using this type of thing is because when you go to any corporate sector as a fresher, if they are giving some training, they will give on Edit Plus first. Because when you start writing the coding, they will try to go for main program. It won't tell any error for you. When you go to the PyCharm, it will give you the error name directly so that you are not thinking about that error. But when you go to this place now, it won't tell here error, here error, here error. It won't tell. You have to put your concentration to locate the error. So it is a good thing for the learners to identify the errors by themselves. Correct or not? Yes, that's why I will use this Edit Plus. Edit Plus is a IDE, text IDE. for typing your Python programs. Even C program also I can type it. New, I can go for Java also I can type. All programming also you can do. C++ program also I can do. I can do Ruby programming also, C Sharp also, XML also, CSS also, VBScript, JavaScript, JSP, different type of things you can develop over here. Understand? So how to download this Edit Plus? You can go to this place, Edit Plus. Here it is Edit Plus is there. Here it is going to be like this. You try to open it. There you are having Edit Plus. Here I'm having 6.0, 24, and 06, something like this. You can click on that. It will be downloaded within seconds. And you can double click, you can install it. This is for downloading the Edit Plus software, and it is not necessary to be downloaded by you. You please type in the PyCharm only. Okay, now? Right. Let us go to the place. Here I'm going to write it. I'm going to take it, display STUDE info, display student info. Carefully try to follow. 10 comma RS comma and 45.67 like this I'm taking. These are called what? Number, name, and then marks. What this is known as function call. Function call with how many arguments? With three arguments. With the three args, with the three arguments here. With the three arguments here. Then how do you define this? Function call is available. How do you define DA? Display student info. Display student info. There I'm going to take it. I'm writing SNO comma, yes name comma, and marks I'm going to take it. Marks I'm going to take it. But I just say pass. How many arguments I'm taking? Definitely I will take how many? Three formal parameters I'm taking. What is this is called? One will go to one, two will go to two, three will go to three. What is this mechanism called? Positional arguments mechanism. These are called positional arguments. These are called positional formal parameters. Formal parameters are of five types. Arguments are of five types. What is this is called? One is going to one, two is going to two, three is going to three. What they are called? Arguments. Which type of arguments? Positional arguments, default arguments, variable length arguments, different varieties are coming. Come on. When you go to the second one, third one, you'll get very good clarity. Now itself, you need to get the clarity. What are the positional arguments? The theme says all sorts of positional arguments on the position wise, they will be transferring to where? Formal parameter. That is 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, n to n. That's nice. I will print the data. How do you print the data here? Print of, I'm going to write it. First value, second value, and I'm going to write third value. Format of SNO, comma, yes name, comma, and I'm going to write it what? Marks. I'm going to close it. And moreover, I will print it for your better understanding, students. I will write a good output for you. A good output, I'm going to print it. Print off, I'm writing SNO, backslash T, name I'm printing, backslash T, marks I'm going to write it. Marks I'm going to write it. Here I'm going to write it. Here I'm going to write it. Try to follow me carefully. Here I'm writing positional arguments example1.py. There is no hurry at all. Carefully try to understand. This is by default. We already used it and you are learning again here. So coming to this place, functions here, try to save it. Positional arguments example1.py. I'm saving it. Now I need to run my code. I want to run this code into where? Command prompt I will run it. Go to the command prompt, students. All the students in the online must be so careful to understand. Run as an administrator. Go to the place students KVR. You know how to go to the command prompt now. Already you exercise this part. Executed, huh? Right. So 7 a.m. You need to go to the folder where you saved it. Already I said at which time? Batch mode processing time I said. Batch mode time I said how to run from command prompt. Here I said, if you remember, don't think that sir did not explain. Sir will explain everything. You have to remember that. Last part you see, to run the Python program from Windows command prompt, we use two tools, Python and py. These are Windows command prompt, you need to use it. Where is the Python tool present also, everything is explained in this place. That's why be perfect in reading my notes. Go to the command prompt, cd functions. In functions place, my program was there. There I will take it, py, my program name, positional arguments example one. So under that SNO, my data is there. Under the name, under the number is coming. Under the name is coming. Under the marks is coming. That means positional arguments will maintain order and meaning. Order and meaning. So positional arguments theme is what? On the basis of their positions, they will be sending this kind of thing. Let us go to the next kind of thing. Another kind of thing I am going to take up. Here I am going to write it. 20, I'm passing 20. Now I'm going to send it here. Here, and I'm going to take it as what? 75.67. Function call with what? Three arguments. Three arguments. Again, you try to run it. Try to run it. Listen, students. Carefully try to listen, all of you. Don't get any excitement in the class. Because of excitement, nothing will come. Carefully try to listen. That is only one thing you need to do it in my class. Because I am only the one which will take care about your future. Take care. All of them need to listen carefully. Are you following me? Next, one more I will take care. One more I will take care here. 30, I'm going to take 30. Here I'm going to write a DR, and I'm going to write it as what you know. Some 25.17 I'm writing here. What is this entire thing indicates? All numbers are going to pass to, all numbers are coming to what? SNO. All names are coming to name. All marks are coming to marks. So positional arguments is not only maintaining the positions, they're also maintaining what? Order and meaning. Order and meaning. All of a sudden, I'm going to write like this. Careful students. Here I'm writing KV. Here I'm writing KV here. Now I'm writing here something like 11.11. Now I'm writing something like, some 40 I'm writing. What is the meaning of that? With the three arguments only. With this, what is happening? This KV will go to where only? SNO. This 11.11 will go to where? Name. 40 will go to where? So by default, which mechanism PVM adopts? Positional arguments. So whatever the order you are passing, in the same order they are going to pass it. Where the PVM is one, Python is one of the dynamically typed programming language. Dynamically typed means what? Based on the data which is coming, the data type will be decided. Understood that? So let us execute that and see the discussion output you see, which is going to be totally irrelevant output coming. So you have to ensure that in positional arguments, what you must ensure? Order, meaning. Order and meaning, actually PVM will not maintain. You have to maintain while you are using what arguments? Positional arguments. So positional arguments are used for which purpose? This is the rule of positional arguments. What is the rule of positional arguments? First to first, second to second, third to third, n to n. While you are using positional arguments, you must be precautioned in such a way that you have to maintain the meaning and order. While you are using these positional arguments, you have to maintain what I said, order and meaning. And why do you use these positional arguments? In which case we will use it? We are going to use it, positional arguments, for sending which data? Specific data. Specific data. This is the data of ROSUM. This is the data of what? This is the data of what? Or TR. This is the data of DR. This is the data of what? KV. Like that, I will go for giving the data of what? Specific person. So positional arguments are always used for what purpose? Passing specific data. Default arguments, purpose. Variable length arguments, purpose. Keyword arguments, purpose. Everything I will tell you the purpose. That only they will ask in the interview point of view. And now tell me, students, and just I am giving you one hint for you. What is this KV actually? I passed a wrong order, correct or not? Wrong order. So that means positional arguments will not maintain the, by default, it won't maintain the order, correct or not? But as a programmer, you must take care about what? So even though I passed the irregular order, I can pass the data in a order basis. What is the KV need to send? Name. Which name? One 11.11 need to pass to whom? 40 need to pass to whom? Good. So even though I passed it like this, I can map to correctly. So look at this KV should pass to whom? Yes name. That yes name you take it and write here yes name is equal to. And next is called what? Marks is equal to this yes name and marks must be what? Formal parameters. What is the next term? SNO is equal to. This mechanism is called not for positional argument. These are called keyword arguments. Which concept? Look at the answer now. How I am passing my data? First three positional arguments. How I am passing the fourth one? Yes. So because of yes name, value will pass to whom? Yes name. Because of marks will go to where? Marks. Because of NO will go to where? SNO. Try to run this code. See the previous output. See this output. Is it coming perfectly or not? How many ways are there to pass my data to the function call? 5. Number 1, positional arguments. Key, variable length arguments, keyword variable length argument. See here itself. If the interviewer is asking this type of mechanism, when you go to the data science level, when you go to high-end programming in Python, this is the most important students. That's why I want to cover this topic now. Are you able to follow now? This is which concept here? Right. So right now you don't know what is the keyword argument. Let us not to worry about it. Let us not to worry. I'm going to discuss that kind of part for you. Let us take care about here also. 40 I'm taking. 40 I'm taking. Here I'm going to pass it. Here I'm taking something like, something like I will take KV and 11.11 I will write it. This is also comes under what? Positional arguments. Did you understand? And the conclusion is positional arguments should be taken always in the case of what? Always. PVM will give you by default as what? First priority to the positional arguments. First priority to whom? Positional argument. For example, see, my dear students, display STUD info. See, all of you. See, all of you. Here I'm writing 22.22 and next is called what some 50 I'm passing something like this. 50 I'm passing for 33.33 and next I'm passing here is called something like a John Hunter. JH is another scientist here. Comma JH I am writing it. You see students, it is a function call. 50 will go to where? SNO. That is okay, perfect. But what about 33.33? It is called marks, na? What about the JH is called? So these are going to having different order or not? So first one is called what? Positional argument. What about the 33.33? Actually, when I keep like that, that is treated as which arguments? Positional arguments. But I'm going to send it to whom? Marks is equal to. What is the next one? S name is equal to. What is the first one? That means it is supposed to be written first. Later you can write other kind of things. Try to write it, execute it, see the output of it. Am I getting perfectly or not? Try to remove that marks and all those things. You try to run it. It is going to give you wrong in mapping or not. So how do you write it now? Come on, faster. Get it back to this place. Marks, I got it. I passed like this. Got it. And my intention is you write it is in the beginning. Suppose if you write before this, if I write it, before this, if I write it, come to the point of it, comma, I will write it, comma. What will happen? Student will think generally what? Marks will go to where? Marks. And a name will go to where? Name. And people will think that rest 50 will go to where? SNO. But PVM will not do that. That means you are writing first what here? Keyword arguments, and later you are writing what? That is called not possible. It is an error. It is an error. Whenever you are using any kind of thing, come on, read out. Syntax error. Positional arguments must follows keyword arguments. Positional arguments must follows what? That means first you have to write what? Later you have to write. Did you understand this concept now? So that's why I'm going to take up the conclusion as what? That's why I'm taking the conclusion as what? First you have to pass what? Next you have to pass. That means who is giving the first priority? Later other kind of parameters will be coming into picture. Out of 5, which one will be given first preference? Later what will be given? Yes. Now I want to show you the concept. So this is comes under positional arguments. A small concept I want to show you students. Let us coming to that. Online students, I hope you are followed that. I hope you followed this concept. Before entering into that, multiple examples I will consider. Let us start learning about this positional arguments. Come on, read out all of you students. Hmm. Positional arguments mechanism is the default passing arguments mechanism used by PVM in functions for passing the values of arguments of function call to the formal parameter of function definition. So first of all, it is the default one. Every language will use it. Hmm. Positional arguments concept says that every argument value passing to the every formal parameter based on their position by maintaining order and meaning for higher accuracy. Number to go to number, name to go to name, marks to go to marks. Marks should not go to name, number should not go to marks. If I tell it is going, it is going to give you what? Accuracy problems. Accuracy means what? Correctness. Okay. In other words, number of arguments must be equal to number of formal parameters. Understood that? Next, positional arguments concept always used for passing specific data from function calls to function definition. PVM gives high priority for positional arguments. So this is a rule of using positional parameter. This is a purpose used for passing which data? Specific data. Syntax I am going to take it. Syntax DEF, function name, param 1, param 2, param n, function definition, block of statements, function call, syntax for function call. There I need to write it what? Come on. Function name of arg1, arg2, argn, function call. These are the arguments, these are the parameters. How this is mapping is done? Here the values of argument 1, argument 2, argument n of function call are passing to param 1, param 2, param n of function definition respectively. I hope you understood that. Argument 1 is passing to this. Argument 2 is passing here. Argument n is passing to this. This is called 1 to 1, 2 to 2, n to n by maintaining order and meaning. And it will be given what priority? High priority. High priority will be given to the positional arguments. And you have seen the syntax error also. Have you seen it? Right. So one student was asked, of course, that is very easiest part to understand, and it is not a doubt. Even though it is a doubt, no problem. Suppose I am passing 60. Now I am going to use it, some name called what FD, like this. I am passing with how many arguments? 2 arguments I am passing. But how many are using here? How many are passing? This is going to be invalid arguments and parameters. This will give you type error. Type error, value error, type error. There was some little confusion is there for us. Type error will come always in the case of mismatching of arguments and parameters. Mismatching of arguments and how many arguments are there here? 2. How many formal parameters are there? Actually, you need to pass how many? But you are passing how many? That will give you which error? Everyone one. Who is that lazy guy? Who is that? How many I am passing? 2. I'm passing 2. Here, how many are there? This will give you which error? Type error. Type error. Look at that type error you see. So here it is going to be type error. Come on, requires read that. Display info missing one required positional argument. Which one is missing? Marks. I think you are following me. So this gives you which error? Type error. Gives, here I will write it, gives, of course, gives what error? Type error. What is the difference between type error and value error? Value error will come in the case of what? Invalid conversions. Invalid conversions will give you what error? Value error. Invalid arguments type, invalid arguments number will give you what? Type error. Clear? Yes. Now you are learning Python, but you are bringing Java nodes. What is that error? Type error. You are not reading the Python nodes. That is called what? Value error. Okay, leave that. General example, you read it. Understand this technical example. You are passing how many? You are supposed to pass how many? You are passing what? Two. What is that error? That's all. If I do invalid conversions, like Python converted into int type, it will give you which error? Value error. So value error will give you invalid conversions and invalid number of arguments with what? Invalid number of formal parameters will give you type error. I hope it is more clear. So the student who asked a few minutes back, whose name is, I hope it is there. Pratik, Pratik, no. Pratik is okay. So there is one student, he is asked a question. That question is, where is that part? So his name is Pawan, I think so. Pawan Kumar. Sir, what will happen if we give only two arguments instead of three? So I think he understood. How many are supposed to? Three. You are supposed to give three forms in the college. Three Xerox forms of something they are asking. You are giving how many? Two. That will give you what error? Type error. So type error. Pawan Kumar, I hope you are understanding what I said. So gives you, this is done. So next, I'll move to the further. Right. Pratik, thank you, my dear student. Let me finish all the things. The time you will be getting wonderful knowledge. Only for first one. Let me go for second one also. You will get it. When I go to one more example here, so you can just take this example and you can execute even in PyCharm also. You PyCharm, you see students, all of you. PyCharm. Even though I type in edit plus, you type it in where? Positional arguments, example 1.py. You try to paste it as it is, you paste it without any kind of disturbance and try to run it. Try to run it. So try to run this now. You will get the output as something like this. Are you getting output like this or not? No problem at all. But only one thing is, if I use it IDE, you will find the error easily because red underline, you will say error. Without thinking, you will get error. So to improve your thinking power, I am using this type of text editor. Okay now? Shall I move to the next one? Good. Online students, follow me carefully. Next, I'll go to others, say Python here. Where I'm going to take it, one more thing. Suppose these persons are going to learn Python also, they are learning Python. All these people are learning what? Python. What should I write it? Here I am writing what? Python. Come on, I need to write what? Python I need to write. Extra parameter I am writing. Extra argument value I am writing. Extra argument value I am writing. Here also I am writing extra argument. Here I am writing extra argument. Python, Python. How many are there? One. Four. How many positional parameters? Three. What do you need to write? What do you need to write? Fourth one I need to write or not? How many I am passing? How many are taking? Which error? Type error. Type error. Execute. Execute. Don't be taking any suspense. Sir may say something. Sir will say many things to you to improve your knowledge. It doesn't mean that saying something. So don't hesitate to answer. Is it a type error or not? Type error. Display takes how many? But how many you are given in the formals? Is it mismatching or not? Which error? What do you do to avoid that? Either you remove Python or to hold Python, you write what? CRS. Course. I will say what? Backslash T, comma, what I will write? CRS. You add here backslash T. You add here called what here? Course. Are you following me? Try to run this now. Execute. Go to this place. Of course, I need to say what? I need to write one empty curly brace. Execute it. Execute it. Students, are you following Python printed or not? So how many are passing? 4. How many are taking? Which mechanism? Which mechanism? Now, you answer my question now. If you are a very good student, if you understand me, display STUD info. There I am writing something like, something like 56.78. And next is called Python. Next is called Python. Before that, I will write it what, 760. I will write 60 Python. And next I'm going to write it something like, something like SS. This is the one I have. What is this is called? With how many arguments? With 4 arguments. 4 positional arguments or not? 4 arguments I am having. Here also 4 arguments I am passing. 4 arguments I am passing with what here? 4 arguments. Is it order is disturbing or not? Enter that. Last part is getting number is called 56.78 is the wrong. Name is called 60, completely wrong. Marks is called Python is completely wrong. Course is called SS. There is no such course called SS. Understood that? So then, how do you adjust this? Can you change this order? Come on. Can you change or not? Yes. With which concept? Come on. Address. Keep the mobile in the back. Mobile is a danger device. Now, when mobile is there in your hand now, you are almost going out of order only because message is coming. You'll have a tension. What message came? I want to see the message like that. Definitely, whether you are there or I myself is there, definitely I want to see the message. Otherwise, something will happen. So if you keep the mobile for a few minutes away, that is good for you. It's good for your health. Because as a student, you don't understand that. Because if I see some people who are roaming on the road, what is the main thing? 24 hours mobile only. Come on, adjust. Start quickly. Marks equal to, like that you need to tell improve. Come on. Next, SNO equal to, CRS is equal to, S name is equal to. Suppose if I write a course, COU, this is if I write it. First see the output of it. First see the output of it. Am I getting perfect output or not? By mistake, if you write a STNO, STNO, what is it actually? See, it is going to marks is going to marks and CRS is going to CRS. S name is going to S name. STNO is not going anywhere because PVM is saying that unexpected variable name. Unexpected. Expected is what? But you are passing what? Unexpected. Display student info got unexpected name. Unexpected name. What is expected? SNO. Come on, read out. Type error. Display student info got an unexpected keyword argument STNO. But what is actual name? But you are passing what? So I need to change it or not? Yes. Easy, not difficult, huh? Easy. How many ways are there to pass my data? 5 ways. One is what you understood, positional arguments, 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3 specific data. And one more is called what? Any of the order you are having, I can pass the data in a correct order. What is the second one? I will explain still more about it. Right now, don't worry. Shall I move to the further? Now, understand a small drawback of this program. Understand, online students? Up to here, I hope it is clear. Now I am saying this is a program. Understand, this is a positional arguments. No doubt in that. Now some small limitation I want to tell you. Small limitation. Are you following the limitation now? Can I tell you that? Look at display student info. Display student info. I have almost what? 6 function calls are there. 6 function calls. You take this function call. You try to remove this kind of things that you least bother. I'm having 5 function calls are there. All 5 function calls are taking different type of values. Distinct up to here. Okay, I will appreciate. And the next is what? Python is passing. Is it a common value or not? That means when PVM is coming to line number 11, it goes to the line number 3 by passing how many values? 4 values. Again, it is going to pass how many values? 4 values. Again, passing 4 values. Again, passing 4 values. Again, passing 4 values. 4, 4, 4, 4. How many times it is carrying? 5 times it is carrying 4 values. Out of these 4 values, these values compulsory have to carry every time. But this value is there na Python. Is it necessary to carry every time? No. How many times I have to carry? Only one time. It is just like what? A teacher who is going to the classroom, is it necessary to carry the duster every time? No, duster is going to be a common value for all the teachers or not? Is it necessary to carry the duster? No, but the subject is supposed to be carried by every teacher specifically. And the duster and board is going to be a common value for all the teachers. And if you observe this mechanism in the performance point of it, unnecessarily carrying the Python for all the people. All these people are learning the common value called what? Python. You may have a doubt, sir. I want to learn some new course called Java. That time, what will happen? I will address that part also. First, you observe for a family of similar function calls, whenever you decided to pass a common value, unnecessarily Python will carry, PVM will carry unnecessarily the same value for 5 times. Is it an unnecessary carrying or not? To avoid this concept, we are using the next mechanism called what? Default arguments. Which mechanism? Don't write Python every time. Don't write Python every time. Write how many times? One time. When should I go for default arguments? When there is a family of function calls. When there is a family of function calls passing the common value. That common value don't pass through whom? Positional arguments. If I pass through positional arguments, answer is coming like this. Answer is coming, but it is going to be a drawback. It takes lot of time. Carrying Python, again carrying Python. Every time you are carrying Python, is it not waste of time? Carry these 3 values which are differing from one place to another place, but don't carry this Python. Output is coming, but performance is an important for me. So Python is supposed to carry how many times? That I will go to the definition. Here I am writing here default. Default arguments example 1. There I am writing CRS is equal to, see where I am writing students. In the function heading I am writing CRS is equal to Python. This is called which arguments? Default arguments. Default arguments. So here I am writing. So default arguments. CRS is equal to Python. I am printing that. How it is going to come? Come on, how it is going to come? Then we'll go to this. RS will go to this. Marks will go to that. CRS already value by default contains. Getting my point? So I'm passing specific data separately, but common data specified how many times? That itself is more than enough. Go to the place now, save it. Default arguments example 1, py here, got the answer. Earlier one also got the answer. This also answer. This also an answer. But this answer is having what? Good performance. This answer is coming, but takes more time to execute internally. Did you understand, students? Suppose, for example, I need a laptop for every class. I'll come from my home. Every day I will come from my home. I'll bring my water bottle, I'll bring my lunch box and all those things. That is a daily I will bring it. That is called what? Positional. But laptop is a common value for all the classes. I'll keep laptop in the office only. What is the default keeping in office is called? Laptop kada, Madhubavulu. Default. Carrying my home every day is called what? Positionals. So coming to the point of it. Here, next I'm going to take it. Next I'm going to take it something like this. There is a student who is going to take up something like 60. There is a 60. I'm going to take up here called a DD. I'm going to pass it something like 23, comma, what they want to write? Java they are writing. No problem that time. What is happening? 40 will go to where? SNO. DD will go to name, and this will go to this place, and Java will go to this place. No problem at all. Are you able to follow? That time it is going to contain the CRS Python is going to contain this Java. Try to run this now. Here I am going to get it. Sorry. What is that? Default arguments example one. Is the Java printed or not? That take care. I will go for using like this. One more example I am using it. Again I am going to use it. One more person is going to be using something like this. Who is that? 70 I'm using. 70 I'm using. Something like SD I'm saying. It is going to be some 53. I'm not passing anything. What is not passing anything here? Come on. How many here? So these are all passing. How many here? Three things only you are passing. Three things only passing. But how many are available here totally? Four. But out of that four, one, three are called what? Positionals. And one more is called what? Default. In this case, what is the course again for the SD? Python only. For 70 is concerned, it is Python only. Because that time I am not passing to what? CRS. Are you following me? Good. Next, I'm going to take up something like this. Display student info. Display student info. Careful. Now I'm writing something like, something like HTML I'm passing. Something like next I'm passing 45.67. Now I'm going to take it something like, or I'm writing something like one more kind of thing called what? 80 I'm passing. What is this? It will give you a wrong answer or not? Wrong in order. That is completely wrong in order. Will you adjust it properly? Come on, fast. If you don't tell, you are waste now. Come on. CRS is equal to HTML. Marks is equal to 45 point. S name is equal to what? Like that. And SNO is equal to. This is called which concept? Simple. Simple. See the answer now? I got it perfectly. Are you able to follow? So this is related to what? Keyword arguments. Of course, I will try to write it with the three arguments only. With the three arguments only. Here I am writing with, of course, this is still I need to discuss with the four keyword arguments. Four keyword arguments. Keyword arguments. Are you understanding the meaning of default arguments here? So when do you go for default arguments? Tell me. Whenever there is a common value for family of a similar function calls, that time the common value must be taken as what? Default parameter in the function heading. Understood? And the rule to remember is, one more example, let me tell you. All these people are living in India, for example. All these people are living in Hyderabad, for example. All these people are living in Hyderabad, for example. So will you pass Hyderabad every time here? Now what you will do? Take it as a default. Where do you write it? Comma. City is equal to what here? Either HYD. HYD I will write it. What is this city is equal to HYD? What these two things are called? Beautiful. So I will write it here. One more I will write it. City. City. I will write it as what? City. Now I am writing here called what? Backslash T. City. I'm writing it. You try to execute, students. Once you try to execute, I'll clear all your doubts. Carefully try to follow. P1, C students, are you getting HYD or not? Now answer my question. Next one I am going to take up display student info. Display student info. Very, very simple. Here I am going to write it. 80, 80. I'm passing Donald Trump. Donald Trump. He getting something like what 11.23. The next is called you want to learn what? He is living in where? USA. He is living in USA. Be careful, but he is learning Python only. Is learning Python only, but he is living in where? USA. Come on, 80 will go to where? SNO. Donald Trump is going to where? S name. 11.23 go to where? USA is going to where? Course. But is it a course? Huh? But it is what? City. Can you adjust it? Look at look at students. Under the course, what Donald Trump printed what? But this course should go to where? City. Python should be the default one. Come on, can you adjust it? How do you adjust it? Beautiful. City is equal to what? What I'm passing to? City. But what is the default one still? Python. Now see students. Are you getting or not? Python and USA. This is the beauty of what? Keyword arguments, default arguments. In this example, what are present? What are the first three? Positional parameters. నేను ఎక్కడ పాయింట్ చేస్తున్నా అది ఇంపార్టెంట్. What these are all called? Positional arguments. Because I am in where? అది important. What these are all called? Positional holds which values? Positional argument values. What these are all called? Why default? Common for all the people, all the function calls. And what is this is called now? All of them are called positional arguments. Careful. The rule I am telling now, the rule I am introducing. The positional arguments, what you are using here, the default arguments, what you are using here, default parameters to be used always to be used after what? You cannot write the CRS and Hyderabad is equal to in the beginning. You cannot write it. You should not write it. Default parameters to be written always in where? Last of the function heading. You cannot write in the beginning. See that you are getting what? Syntax error. Read out. Parameter without default follows parameter with default. Parameters without default value is nothing but positional parameters only. Follows what? Parameters with a default value. So, what is the rule you understood? People will ask you, can I use a default parameters before the positionals? No, you should not. You have to use always what? You have to use always what? First the positional params, later that is called what? High priority will be given for what? So I hope you got it. Did you understand the meaning of default parameters? Did you understand the meaning of positional arguments? So what is the use of positional arguments? To pass the specific data multiple times. What is the use of default parameters? To take a common value for multiple function calls. Got it all? Compulsory question. Let us go to the concept here. Default arguments I want to show you. Come on, read out all of you. Default parameters. Start. When there is a common value for a family of similar function calls, then such a type of common value must be taken as with common value, but not recommended to pass by using positional arguments or positional parameters. Syntax for default parameter DEF, function name, param1, param2, so on. Param n minus 1 is equal to value 1. Param n is equal to value 2. Where I written it? Last part. Should not be written in the beginning or should not be written in the middle. Got it? Here param 1, param 2, param n are called what? Sorry, param n minus 1. Sorry, here. Param n minus 1 and param n are called what? Default. Param 1, param 2 are called what here? Formal positional parameters. Understood? Right, rule. Come on, all of you. When we use a default parameters in the function definition, they must be used as last parameters. Otherwise, we get error, syntax error. Parameters with a default follows parameters without default. Got it up? So are you confident enough? How many ways to pass it? Specific data passing, common data passing. Common data to be taken as what? Default. Specific data to be passed as what? That's all. And specific data in different order I am passing. To pass in correct order, which one? That's all. Are you following me? Good. Keyword arguments are dead easy, students, because already you experienced it. Online students, is my examples are clear? Is my examples are clear? Suppose if I take this explanation in PyCharm also, if I take this example in PyCharm, so default args example 1.py, if I paste this as it is, right, students? Thank you. Now look at that answer. Am I getting this or not? Of course, what is coming? Marks course it is coming. What is missing here? I hope which one I copied here. This answer. This one I want to take up, students. This entire thing I want to take up. Go to the PyCharm, try to take up, try to run this code, see the output of it. Are you following me? Right. So here, any kind of thing if you want, you can pass the data properly. So these mechanisms are important. Everybody will explain it. Hmm? So, okay. Mohammad Arshad, thank you, my dear student. So even that is my dream only. As long as I am in teaching, I want to do that for you to give more and more subject, because I worry about your grasping from my topic. If you grasp it, that is a good for your career. You need to go for it. Okay, students, I'll go for default argument example 2. Next, I will go to the keyword arguments. I want to go for it. Take an example. Look at A, next B, next C, next D. I'm taking one small case here. A, B, C, D, I'm going to take it. A, B, C, D are my column names, for example. For A, always I want to pass 10. For B, always I want to pass 20. For C, always I want to pass 30. For D, always I want to pass 40. That is the order of values to pass. So what you will do generally, students? DEF display A comma B comma C comma D. What you will do immediately? Print of A comma B comma C comma D. You print it. What is my main program? What is my main program? Come on here. Display 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40. What is this is known as function call with what? Positional arguments. That is an important. With what? Arguments only, but which arguments? Positional arguments, keyword arguments, variable length arguments, keyword variable length arguments, all these things. 10, 20, 30, 40. With which arguments? Very good. With the positional arguments, with positional args, PS args, I wrote it. Okay. Since you are the developer of this function and you are the caller of the function, you know the order. You know the order. You know the order. 10 is going to this, 20 is going to this, 30 is going, 40 is going. Suppose functions are meant for reusability, right or not? And I defined in my application, some other colleague, your another project mate, he want to use your function definition in his other program. In other program, he want to call your function. That time you don't know what you defined it, but you know the parameter names. He know the parameter names, but you don't know the order of it. You defined some function, student, with 4 parameters. I know the parameter names, but I don't know the order of it. Are you following me? ABCD you have taken, ACBC you have taken, ACBD you have taken. I don't know the order, but there are common parameters are called what? 4. I know 4, but I don't know the order of it. Then what is the best technique to pass my data in the proper order? Keyword arguments. Suppose if I write it by mistake 40, 10, 20, and then 30, is it going in a wrong or not? Can you pass it properly now? How do you pass it? D is equal to A is equal to A, B is equal to C is equal to. What this concept is called? So what is the use of keyword arguments? I know the parameter names. I don't know the order of the parameters. To pass the data accurately, the best technique is what? Yes, compulsory question. In NumPy pandas, this is the most trending mechanism. What is the keyword arguments purpose? Tell me. I know the function name which is defined by somebody. I know the parameter names which is taken by somebody, but I don't know the order. That time to pass in the correct order, I will pass through whom? Yes. Take an example. Postman. Postman who is giving the letters in the village. How he is coming? He is coming to every house, he knocking the door and giving a based on the address, he will go and give. Right or not? How that Amazon people are delivering the products to the homes? That packing boys are how they are giving it. Which concept? Based on address. If addresses are one house after another house like that, what is the mechanism of transferring the goods, passing the data to the homes? Keyword argument concept only. Right or not? So let us carefully go for it. So keyword arguments concept is what? We know the parameter names. We don't know the order of the parameters. To pass the data properly, we go for what? Keyword arguments. Let us take this example, ma. All of you carefully try to follow. I'll take others and Python here. So defined it. Program for demonstrating. Keyword arguments I'm taking. Here I'm trying to write it. I hope students in online, you might got my point. Program for demonstrating keyword arguments. Keyword arguments. So I will print that backslash t, backslash t, backslash t, backslash t, dot format of what? A comma B comma C comma D. Online students, main program I am writing, display of what? 10, 20, 30, 40. Function call with what? Function call with what? Four positional arguments. Four positional arguments. I hope it is more clear. So this I will carry, student. This I will carry for your good decorative part. This is called A, and B I am going to take it. B I am going to take it. This is a C I am going to take it. This is a D I am going to take it. This is the one I am going to use it here. Are you following? So here I am going to write it. Keyword, keyword ARGS, ARGS example 1.py. Keyword arguments example 1.py. So try to execute and see this now. Py, keyword arguments example 1, under AB, we are getting the data. Are you following? Right. What this concept is? Positional arguments. Now I'm going to ask you this example. Look at 40, 30, 20, 10. If I take this one, is it completely going in wrong or not? Can you pass it now? Come on. D is equal to C is equal to B is equal to A equal to. Which concept it is? Yes, with the four keyword arguments. Keyword arguments. Execute. Am I getting perfect or not? As next I'm going to take it. One more thing. I'm going to write it. Here I'm writing 30, 40, 20, and then 10. Come on, quick. C is equal to D is equal to B equal to A equal to. With what arguments? Keyword arguments. Okay, well, execute. Got it. Next time writing, be careful, guys. All of you. So I'm going to take it. Display 10, 20, 40, 30, 40, 30. Be careful. Come on. 10, 20, no problem. 10 is going to A, 20 is going to B. C is going to be different. What is this now? D is equal to C is equal to. What this concept is called? Function call with two positional arguments and two keyword arguments. And two keyword arguments. Beautiful. Keyword arguments. Execute it. Am I getting correct order or not? Yes. Now I'm going to write it. One beautiful question. I think whether you will answer correct or not, I don't know. Come on, answer my question next. Come on, come on. D is equal to C is equal to last 10, 20. 80 is going to give you type error. Type error. Type error. This is a type error. I already said to you. First, you need to write always with what? Right. So, of course, type error. It is giving syntax error. No issue. So, it is going to give you syntax error. I write like this. Are you following me? So, I'll also keep it as like this. Syntax error. Perfect. So, syntax error it is. Are you okay, students? Well, did you understand the meaning of this? Fine. So now I'm going to introduce keyword arguments is okay. Now I'm taking one more. Look at, I want to take a common value called here pi, pi, pi is a common value I want to take. Or some value you take it. Comma, city is equal to what? Hyderabad you take it. Hyderabad. City is equal to Hyderabad. Assume that all these things are what? Different values are passing. City is equal to Hyderabad, I said. What will happen in this case? I will just print it one more thing. Just one default value I passed to student. So I'm going to write it what? City. I'm just writing one city. My intention is to pass default argument here. That is the main intention. Backslash T. What is this now? City. You try to execute. Keyword arguments example 2.py. Where I'm trying to write it. Done. Execute this now. Py. See students. Am I getting city same or not? In my program, what are these called? Positionals with a default. What these are all called? Keyword with what? City. And what is this is called? Positionals, keywords, and what? Default. Last part I'm going to use it. Display. Display 30, 10, 20, 40. And I'm writing here called what? Something like AP, AP. Come on, start. Understanding everybody. AP. Start everybody. I forget. What is this now? C is equal to A equal to B equal to, come on, city equal to B equal to. What is this? Hmm? D. D is equal to. Are you following me? D is equal to. This is called what concept here? This is called what concept here? Two positional arguments, one default, 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 and no positionals. Okay, students. One default, and next is what? Four. Four. Right? Execute. See, students, am I getting the perfect order or not? This is a way to pass the data correctly. Understood, students? Right. Let us watch this carefully. All of you, keyword arguments I will show you. Keyword arguments. Come on, read out properly. Here I'm going to say start. In some circumstances, we know the function name and the formal parameter names, and we don't know order of formal parameter names. And to pass the data or values accurately, we must use the concept of keyword parameters or arguments. The implementation of keyword parameters or arguments says that all the formal parameter names used as arguments in the function calls as keys. I mean, like this. Here, what are all the formal parameters are there that we are using as a keys in the function call. Understand that? If I use any different name, you will get an error called unexpected argument. You will get it. Are you following me? So here I am going to take a here that is the one. And the syntax here you see, these are the formal parameters that only used in the function call. Param n is equal to value n, param 1 is equal to value 1, param n minus 1 is equal to value n minus 1. We are getting it. Here, param n is equal to value n, 1 is equal to value n minus 1 is equal to value n minus 1 are called what? Keyword arguments. When we specify keyword arguments before positional arguments in function calls, then we get syntax error. What is the syntax error? Positional argument follows keyword argument because PVM gives first priority to the, because you have seen already the example on that area. Are you following me? So here, how many types of arguments are available? Did you understand the meaning of positional arguments? Default arguments, keyword arguments also you got it. Understood? So tomorrow class when I come back, I'll talk about what? Variable length and keyword variable length. While I'm discussing 4 and 5, I'll mix the other 3 also with this kind of things. Okay? We'll stop my class and tomorrow class, I'll continue the 4 and 5 mechanisms. Practice well and don't come without practicing. Read, practice and come to the class. Thank you. All the best. Carry on now. Students in on Mr. Om, where is that? You are in the functions. Have you seen the index of it? Where is that index? Mr. Om, you try to follow. So try to follow. Here you see, I am in the second part of the functions. Where is the special functions are available? Last part of the functions. I used to discuss in the class. Are you okay? So I hope you are understanding, Mr. Om. This is in the last part of it. Right. So online students, any doubts you are having? So the doubts, if anybody is having the doubt, I will look into that. Ramakrishna.
Sir, good morning, sir. Sir,
Good morning.
whatever the predefined functions that we learned so far, suppose in those functions, what all the arguments that the predefined functions are expecting, how can I know, sir?
Already I said in the class, na? Already I said in the class. If I go to the, if I go to this place, I already said in the class, help of, help, list, help of list.
okay,
So that are going to present in this place. Like this add function, you take it.
o-
Add
okay,
self comma object. Clear
o-
off parameters. Already
okay,
help related things explained now.
okay, sir. No, I got it, sir. Yeah, that's it,
Right.
sir. Thank you.
Next student is uh, Ranjan, Ranjan Patra. Ranjan. So Ranjan Patra not taking. Simhadri, is it possible to restrict the duplicate arguments? Duplicate arguments, if you take latest one will be taken. Tomorrow class you will come across that part. Tomorrow class. One question, how we go for developing API in the future? Packages. Through packages we can develop it. Through packages we can develop it. Through packages you can develop it. We are going to show you that. Okay, students, take care. All the best. Don't miss tomorrow class. Very, very important.